Hey everyone, welcome back to Pro Dealer Secrets. Today we're going to talk about part 8 of the 10-part series. The 10-part series being 10 ways to sell 10 more cars this month. And in part 8 we're going to talk about how you need to track the source of all of your sales and plan to spend more on what's working and less on what isn't. So it sounds like an obvious statement, kind of saying it is like, well, duh. But it's one of those things that a lot of people don't have the consistency to do, or they don't track properly. So what we need to look at is you need to know where every single person that buys a car originally found your dealership, and ideally you need to know where every single lead found your dealership as well. But the lead thing can be different based on how your business is set up. The smaller you are, the easier that is to do. But certainly for all the sales, that there can be no exception that you need to know where every single sale comes from. I have a few resources that I've included to help you do this. One is our sales report template, and two is our test drive log that we use to log every test drive and potential interested buyer to find out what they're looking for, what we can offer them later, plus where they found us. But you have to ask people, when they're buying the car and when they're filling out paperwork, how they found you. So when you're doing a sale and or during the conversation, it has to be sometime, but for sure your sales process has to dictate that it's part of the paperwork, and your salesperson or you has to fill in, how the customer found you. And I'm going to show you how we do it here in a minute. So I'll give you an example of why this information is very important. It helps you make decisions, and that way you're not just paying $500 for some service that you hope is working, but you're not really sure if it's working. For me, when I found out that 20 to 30% of people found us on Craigslist, yet at the point I was only spending like $500 a month on Craigslist ads, I immediately increased my Craigslist budget to $2,500 to $3,000 a month, and sales went up by 20 plus cars per month, and it took us from the level of selling 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 cars a month just on that one thing. But that's because I was tracking this information. I saw what was going on, and then I saw not only the fact that we were getting some Craigslist deals and we were spending relatively small amount for a Craigslist deal, but I also saw that Facebook was getting more and more crowded at the same time. So it was a perfect storm of being able to make the right decision at the right time because I had the data to back up the decision. So I'm going to show you guys this is our bill of sale that prints out from, we use v12software.com. And when it prints out, part of the requirement is for the salesperson to go in here and type in, where the customer saw his ad source, which is, it can be Craigslist, it can be Facebook, it can be like Car Gurus, Auto Trader, whatever it is, referral. That's where they type it in. That they have to type in the temporary tag number that we have, and then we put little disclosures, and people have to initial each one of these, which is: all sales are final, no refunds. All deposits non-refundable. All cars as is. Blah, blah, blah. So, we kind of really make sure we cover our butts here. But especially you need to make sure that you have the ad source as part of the sale. And it has to be written. It has to be something that the customer or the salesperson writes down or records somewhere, because guaranteed they sell 5 cars, they're going to forget where everybody came from. It has to be part of the paperwork. So I'm going to run you through an example of how we track it. And, the sales report template that I talk about below, this is exactly what you'll be accessing. Here in a minute, there's going to be a sales report tutorial video link. So there'll be a separate video that just walks through all the different ratios and numbers, what they mean, how to use them, and how to fix it if you break it. Because there's a lot of numbers and ratios and factors that go into this to create all this information. But we're just going to focus on the fact that when you sell a vehicle, your source is going to be tracked right here. And this is a real month. I changed up all the customer information, but all these numbers are real for us. I changed up a few things here to kind of add in the fact, red is the fact that we didn't pay the salesperson. Obviously, I paid him, so it's red, but whatever. So you can see here, this is all the different ad sources. This is October of 2019, so this is a real month of sales for us. I think I made this like halfway through the month or something. But you see where we're getting about half and half of our deals. And then we record the number up here. So if we go through and count how many Craigslist deals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 Facebook, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So obviously Facebook Marketplace is free to post. So the fact that we're getting 14 over 9, that makes sense. Usually our Craigslist deals make a little bit more money. Okay, and then R&R is repeat and referral business. So every month, we typically average 3 to 5 repeat and referral deals where somebody comes back or sends a friend, and we pay every referral. We pay $100, and then ATT is Auto Trader, Kelley Blue Book, Carfax, Car Gurus, wholesale like cars we sold at the auction or to like another dealer, Facebook, and Craigslist. So that's what those mean. But this is important to track, and then also, you're going to put it in your year. Every month, you're going to translate all your monthly numbers into a year-to-date spreadsheet. So you go through and you record all those numbers across right here, including how many ads you posted for the month, how much you spent, how many sales you got for different categories, stuff like that. Now we need to add one more, which is, for me, Auto Trader, Kelley Blue Book. We'll add that one in there. And we also record how much we spend on advertising between AdWords, Facebook, and then Carfax plus our website. So Carfax costs us $1,200. The website's $200. So then what it does is, for me, it goes through and it calculates how much we've spent on ads for the year, how much we spend per month, how much we're spending per deal. So the fact that we're spending $100 to get a deal, and every deal makes $800 to $1,000, that's a pretty good return. So the reason I came up with these numbers is because there was a point to where we weren't tracking this, and I wasn't spending nearly enough money to get deals. Because, hey, look, this is the rationale. We're paying $100 to get a referral, so we might as well pay $100 in ad spend to get a deal. So let me just show you the power of this information. So 2017, this is the year-to-date number. This is our Craigslist sales versus Facebook. So, it's kind of half and half. Facebook's getting bigger there. But then, here Facebook's doing a lot. And this is how many Craigslist ads that we're posting. Not a ton, anywhere from a couple hundred to 500. So we're spending on average $1,300 per month in Craigslist ads. In 2018, about the same. We're averaging $1,000 to $1,200 up until this month. So let's see what's happening here. Is Facebook is dominating right here. 12 to 23, 60 deals from Facebook, 9 from Craigslist, 30 from Facebook, 6 from Craigslist. And then we get around this point right here where I start to realize, holy shit, every dealer is flooding to Facebook because it's free. All the dealers are leaving Craigslist because they don't want to pay for something when there's something free over here. But then my thought process is, customers aren't moving to Facebook because it's free. Dealers are moving to Facebook because it's free. Customers are still searching on Craigslist. They're still searching on Facebook. This just means that now I can blow up on Craigslist, double, triple the ad spend, take it over, and be like one of the sole dealers in our area that's advertising on there at the rate that we are. So that's what we did. We tripled ad spend, and there wasn't an immediate payoff. you can see the ad, sales doubled, but we more than doubled the ad spend. And then it kept going up. But then you're going to see in the next year where it really pays off. But, the Craigslist ads definitely go up. The Craigslist sales go up. And Facebook starts to trickle off as more dealers flood into Facebook. So this number right here, 136 to 379, that's the distribution of sales between the two places. But then in the beginning of 2019, you're going to see that all this investment into Craigslist starts to really, really pay off. Especially this month, we spent almost $4,000 in Craigslist ads this month. But then here in 2019, we start to sell more cars on Craigslist than Facebook, because Facebook at this point is oversaturated with dealers, and we're still spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and we average $2,000 a month by the end of the year. But it goes from 15 to 24, 20, 21, and especially for tax time, that was we sold 64 cars, and a third of them came from Craigslist, a third from Facebook, and then we had 8 repeat and referral deals, 5 Carfax. So it really paid for itself, and then it kind of kept going after that. So Craigslist has been huge for us, but I never could have made that decision without being able to track all the sales. So being able to track everything, really having data-driven decisions is one of the biggest competitive advantages, because I guarantee you that it'll be rare for me to find a dealer that knows their numbers to this depth. To the point to where what the average year of the vehicle you sell is, what the average sales price is, what the average cost is. You even know how much on average you spend per car in repairs after you buy the car. So on average, we buy a car and spend $495 on it after buying it. So that means we buy it for $32, we spend $500, we got $3,700 in it, and we sell it for $47 and make $1,000 per car. And that number tells me a lot of stuff. If we have a month where we're averaging more in repairs than average, we know that maybe we're not getting a lot of good cars that month, or maybe they're more expensive cars. You can go back and track it, because I track what auction I buy a car from, because when I know where I'm buying cars and what auction, then I start to realize that, hey, maybe this auction has way more common of losses. So we go to this auction and 50% of this cars are losses from this auction, so maybe it's not worth going to that auction anymore. And I've done that before. I've stopped going to 2 local auctions because after tracking the numbers over the course of a whole year, it's just not worth going. So that's just, those are the things that we can see and decisions we can make based on that. And then in addition, you can also track your payroll if you want to. What I like to do is I like to go through and put the checks, the gross, the net pay, and the tax, calculate the taxes automatically. And the reason for that is just to see, how payroll is trending. For me, my general rule is that payroll should never be more than 25 to 30% of your gross profit. And that's not counting commission. So, commission only salesperson, that number is not counted, because this number already takes into account commission. So this number is like your hourly employees, stuff like that, people that don't get paid to sell cars. So for me, I try not to pay anybody more than $10,000 a month combined. So we have one mechanic and we have one detailer. Mechanic makes $3,500, the detailer makes $2,500. So that's what is that, $6,000, $7,000 a month on average. So we're doing pretty well there, but we don't ever want our total employee expenses to get above $8,000 to $10,000. So that's just a general rule I've seen across multiple industries and multiple businesses, because you start to really eat into your profit margins by having too many employees or paying your employees too much. So that's today's video. It kind of went off the rail there, kind of got distracted, but hopefully you got the core point, which is you must know what's working and what isn't working. You have to know where your sales are coming from. You have to know. Otherwise, how are you going to know whether it's worth paying for for a service or not. And if you know exactly where your sales are coming from or where they aren't, you can have competitive advantages over your competition, because I hear a ton of dealers say, oh, I only get 1 or 2 sales a month from that. It's not worth it. Whereas if you're paying, $300 to $500 for something and it's getting you 2 to 3 sales a month, it's probably worth keeping, because at least it's breaking even, and at least you're getting exposure to the market so that people can see your branding and remember you later. And the best part is, if that ad source is getting you a few sales, you're breaking even. You're not having to pay for branding. Whereas if you go put up a billboard, you got to pay a couple $1,000 a month for people to see your brand. But whenever you have an advertising source that pays for itself, you're getting free branding at that point. So that's today's video. Until next time, we're going to finish out the series with the next 2 videos. So this is Anthony with Pro Dealer Secrets, and I will see you guys on the next one.